It's easy during the draft cycle to talk about all the big prospects from the big schools, but today I want to focus on the non-Power 5 teams. So that could be the group of 5, that could be FCS, or even lower. I'm going to go over my top 10 today. But what's crack-a-lacking? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. So let's go ahead, start out with number 10 on my list being Dwayne McBride, who's having a banger year at running back. 14 touchdowns, almost 1,300 yards. You gotta be loving him. You got to be loving it. And currently got early day 3 projection on him, 5th round grade. So where I currently have him at, he's one of the better power backs in this class, former 3-star recruit who saw a little time during his freshman year, but really took a larger part in the offense in 2021, where he was just a stud. In this year, he's kind of replicated a bit of the same. This dude just eats contact like it was nothing. If you go back in 2021, he was 5th in forced missed tackle rate. Only Bijan had a better rate per touch. And then you go ahead and look at this year, it's a little less, but it's still about the same. I mean, when you have that type of style, it's gonna fluctuate here and there, but he never wants to stop churning his feet, and I love that. I say that in every video, like legit, like regardless of position, if you love churning your feet through contact, you're my type of guy, whether it's someone along the offensive line, the defensive line, or at the playmaker or like a ball carrier perspective, whether that's a pass catcher or a legitimate running back. But I like that. I like that. He shows quick feet too, honestly. He gets the open field pretty fast, and he has a little bit of shiftiness to him, not much, but a little bit, and he's very explosive out the cuts. He shows really good vision there at UAB. He maneuvers around blocks masterfully, and he's taken many carries like to the house. Like if you go back to like 2021, he had 39 carries for 10 plus yards. So yeah, like I like this cat. He's got that ideal build at 5'11", 215. Fumbles are a concern with this cat. I will admit that. Fumbles are definitely something to watch out for. And his speed and explosiveness, that's just not his type of game. They're not going to be on the high-end scale. He's a power back through and through. You know what you're using him for. Also, hardly ever used in the passing game. Even as a pass blocker, never really graded out well. So maybe something to look for, I'd say during an All-Star Bowl, but I don't think he'll get that. Dude's going to be a junior, so kind of is what it is. But prospect I am a big fan of. And here at number 9, we have Ivan Pace. I got an early day 3 grade on him. I think he can slip because they're going to look at his height. And I mean, we saw with Malcolm Rodriguez. I know, probably not nearly as good as a prospect, though I think they can be comparable. Not as productive as Ivan Pace has been, but we saw Malcolm Rodriguez, who was typically like, for most people, like this 4th, 5th rounder, fall in the 6th round. I think Ivan Pace, personally, I'm in the 3rd round. I might be willing to take a shot at grabbing him. But I think ultimately he ends up this 4th, 5th round pick. Currently do have a 4th round grade on him, but it's like real fringe 3rd round, real close. But this guy has been uber productive throughout his whole career. He was actually back as a senior. He was in high school. He was a Division I Defensive Player of the Year. And he also was played running back there, which was kind of wild. Where he like ran for over 1,400 yards. Then he goes to Miami, Ohio. Like he was that highly recruited of a prospect, which blows your mind, right? 2-star recruit. But he ends up tying the NCAA record for sacks in a game with 6 against Akron. But still, it's like, I feel like, this is a thing, or this is like, it was just showing us of what was yet to come, because He eventually transfers in 2022 to Cincinnati to join his brother there. If you didn't know, his brother, Sean Pace, also plays linebacker for the Bearcats. But this dude's had a banger year. Like, he's been all over the place, and they love using him as a pass rusher. 93 tackles on the season, 42 pressures, 11 sacks. Holy moly. He's a quick athlete. I love that. This dude can bounce all around the line of scrimmage, does a great job at just not letting blockers get latched onto him, shows that sideline to sideline speed, willing to square up with anybody. You just love it, man. He's a high motor dude. He'll pursue till the whistle, and he's a powerful hitter, and he's shown the ability to blow up. If he could find a hole or a gap, then dude will shoot it like nobody's business. Where people, or at least where scouts will like criticize him for, is he doesn't have ideal length and like you're gonna question his physicality at 6 foot 235. I'm not too worried about his physicality, but you are gonna question his length and his ability to make plays and coverage. And it's just something that will come up, man. It really will. There are times he does slip off tackles. He hovers around 10% missed tackle rate, which isn't bad at all. But there are times where it's like, man, I knew it. He lacks that physicality. He's just sliding off tackles. But for the most part, man, this guy's a very sure tackler. So it's like, miss me with that. But I think what he just brings as a blitzer in general is just deadly. So got him here at number 9. Next on the list, we got Cody Amach out of North Dakota State. And this is a cat that I didn't see myself end up liking. Like, I saw his name thrown around, and finally got around to watching him, I think last week. Was it last week? Yeah, because I included him in a video. And I actually really like this cat. Like, dude's a very good athlete at 6'6", 303, a very smooth mover. He combines good length with very good balance, and has been one of the best tackles in the FCS. Really has, man. This man's got a nasty punch. He plays with that nasty mentality the NFL loves, and honestly, he does his best work in pass protection. I really think that he shows good mirroring ability. He plays with great leverage. He's quick out of the stance, sinks the hips well, because at 6'6", you start to get scared of those guys. How can they maintain leverage? Are they going to fall on into the tall man syndrome where they can't get down low? But this guy sinks well, and he provides like a very big anchor, packed out with a load of experience. And this is a cat that played multiple. That was a multi-sport athlete in high school, where he played basketball, baseball, track and field, and he was actually a tight end in high school. Was a tight end when he walked on with the Bisons and converted to tackle his freshman year, I believe, which he redshirted. And dude's been very good, man. He's played a right tackle, he's played a left tackle. And while he is smooth, the foot speed's not ideal, but it kind of is what it is. I think his hand usage could be maybe a bit more precise, but kind of nitpicking here. He is a bit of an older prospect. I think he'll be a 24 by the time he plays his first NFL snap, or by the beginning of the NFL season, or his rookie season. But that's kind of fine for your offensive line, because those guys typically mature later. So maybe getting a guy that's a bit more veteran, it's kind of top notch, man. So I got a top 100 grade on the cat. On to Quindale Johnson. I love this cat. The safety out of Memphis. I've talked about him, I feel like, quite a bit. He was on one of my stock up videos, and obviously he was on my safety rankings. And the dude's just really good. He really is. The dude is just a stud. He has a well-rounded game, very nice change of direction, good closing speed. He's showcased ball skills both this year and last year. He's been a sure tackler, a guy that can get up in the slot or play in the box, but I think a guy that can also play deep. So he gives you a lot of versatility at the safety position. As you can see, man, 4 pass breakups, 3 interceptions this year, Prior to that, if you look the prior 2 seasons to this year, he had 6 interceptions, 11 pass breakups. So you already know, man, 9 interceptions over his career. That's kind of nuts. There are times where he's a bit more reactive than proactive, and he's just more instinctual, so he finds himself having to make up ground a bit early, and you kind of find that, you see that around the line of scrimmage. There are times he opens up his hips a bit too early, gets turned around, gets put in a blender, so to speak, and you kind of, like, you may be worried that he doesn't have the explosiveness to at least catch up quickly to that, but I like his long field speed. Like I said, closing speed, pursue speed is top notch. A lot of times this guy's not giving up much in coverage regardless. On to Brandon Joseph. We're going to stick at the safety position. Dude had a pick 6 against Syracuse. His only pick of the season. And the guy just hasn't presented ball skills that much of us expected from him after the 2020 season, where he was at Northwestern. If you didn't know, he was a Northwestern guy, former 3-star recruit, before he transferred to Notre Dame this season. And you're going to love the versatility of this cat. Like, he's played deep, he's played in the slot, he's played in the box. He's probably capable of playing outside corner as well. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, man. I kind of think that might be his spot. Like, I would love this guy. I want to see this guy around the ball more, because we're just not seeing it as much deep. So maybe having him in the slot or outside, because he's got ball skills, man. I know he has ball skills. And he's got oily hips, you know. And I like this guy in transition. He has good range. And this is a guy that can find himself at the right place at the right time and make the most of it, take advantage of it, and just with how fluid like of a mover he is, maybe moving him out to the corner position is the best case scenario. And he plays the run well. He's just not a good finisher against the run, so maybe put him in outside corner might be a bit better. There are some concerns with maybe his explosiveness, but I'm kind of like, whatever. Like, he's just so good of a mover. Maybe just kick this guy in the slot or at corner. And I think I've kind of settled on that's where I want him to be. I want him to be as close to the line of scrimmage as possible. But I like Joseph. I think he's going to be a top 70, top 80 prospect drafted in this class. But we'll see. We still got a long road ahead of us. Next on the list, Rashee Rice, another guy that I've been talking about quite a bit out of SMU, and big fan of this cat, man. Guy's got a good catch radius, good long arms. He has the speed to legit run by guys. And honestly, I don't think you'll find more of a competitor, man. This guy wants to win bad. He's tough to bring down after the catch. He's actually pretty solid at the contested catch as well. Shows strong hands, very reliable weapon, whether he's playing in the slot or outside. Coming from SMU, the route tree is a bit simplistic, but it is what it is. Drops are kind of an issue, and I feel like they're not even ball skill issues. I think it's more so they're like focus drops. That's where I was looking for. But doesn't he develop as a route runner? It's just something we haven't seen him run a diversity of routes. But in terms of what he brings to the table is after the catch, just being an utter playmaker. I mean, look at that, 71 receptions for over 1,000 yards, 8 tutties on the year. Big fan of this guy. I have him as a top 75 prospect. Some people throw him in the first round. I think that's just a bit, maybe they just want to talk about him, so that's why maybe they throw him in the first round. I find people do that a lot with mock drafts. They'll throw guys that they know won't go in the first round, or at least shouldn't go in the first round. They'll throw them in there just to really talk about them, and that's just not my cup of tea when it comes to doing mock drafts. But huge fan of Rashee Rice. I've talked about him a ton. You can go check out my receiver rankings. He's up there. On to Blake Freeland out of BYU. Got a top 50 grade on him. He is my Abraham Lucas in this class, which means he'll probably go in the 3rd round, despite me thinking he should go earlier. And we see how that's paying off for the Seahawks, right? He's having a really good year there, Abraham Lucas. I really think that Blake Freeland is a similar prospect. He's a skyscraper of a individual similar to Abraham Lucas. They're at 6'8", 305, but I think he's maybe a bit, maybe not a better athlete, but more, I guess, flexible, more bendy. What would be the term for this? Stretchy. I don't know. This guy sinks well. He's a good athlete, man. He's at his best when he's like on the move. But like he does a good job of sinking his hips. And being from BYU, he's a very good technician. His hands are active. They're precise. He throws, honestly, he throws jabs that could really catch defenders off guard. And there are cases where he's driven guys into the dirt. But yeah, again, you're getting concerned with the height and consistently getting good leverage, but he's so good of an athlete. I mean, just go ahead and look at like his pedigree, as he was a 3-star recruit, so it's like, oh, that's not that high, but he was labeled as an athlete coming out of high school because this dude played quarterback, he played tight end, like just wild. He played basketball, he also did track and field, so like he holds the state record for javelin, like, so you know that guy's can throw them haymakers, so like we know this guy's a very good athlete, that he's got some flexibility to him, but at the end of the day, I think the biggest critique of him will be the leverage, the height. That, okay, yeah, just even when you are a good athlete, can you consistently sink down low and get good leverage on the snap-to-snap basis? There are going to be cases where he can lose, and he will get waist-bended, so to speak. But I think they're going to be few and far between, which I honestly think makes him a really good prospect. I just don't think people are going to be really on the Freeland train. Honestly, when it comes draft time, if he falls to day 3, won't surprise me, man. Won't surprise me. I was surprised Abraham Lucas fell. I won't be surprised that like this again, man. I won't. All right, we're going to go to Army for Andre Carter. Got a top 50 grade on him. And yeah, he's not having a fruitful season, so to speak, when you're looking at it. A guy that was coming off a 15.5 sack season. He only has 3 sacks, 11 pressures, 4.5 tackles for loss on the year. So you're like, what happened? What happened to this? Why is he not producing? And it's because he's getting double teamed a lot. There's no other threat there on the Army defense, nay, the Army team. So they're giving him all the attention. So he's not going to be as successful. And when it comes to what he is as a prospect, he's a guy that's just oozing and dripping tools, that he combines this size with this length, with good athleticism, plays with a good motor, high effort player, long body that just moves quickly. He has length that allows him to disengage when he chooses to do so. A guy that doesn't stop moving his feet. You see the you just see the tools off this guy, and maybe I don't know if he's like that bendy. I don't think he's like got elite bend, but I think he's capable of being pretty bendy. I don't think this is a guy that we're saying, oh, you're gonna have to throw him at 7 tech or 9 tech consistently because his bend's not all that great. I think that's something that could be worked on. Is he's a guy that's still continuing to fill out his frame. As you can see, he looks like a stick. It's just he's tall as hell. And get this guy in an NFL weight room where he can learn some explosive strength, explosive athleticism. Because honestly, like, I don't think he has explosiveness. I don't think he's that explosive. I think his body's just so big. It seems like that he covers ground really easy, because he does, man. He's got long strides. He's just a long body. But that's something you get in an NFL work room, or an NFL gym. Let's just go with that. And they're going to work on your explosiveness, because explosiveness is so key to the NFL. You want to be an explosive athlete. He does need to work on the power aspects of his game, but in terms of what he is in terms of raw tools, those are there. That's why I got him as a top 50 guy. Next, we're going to talk about my boy Isaiah Foskey out of Notre Dame. Got a first round grade on this cat. Big fan in terms of what he has. Like, he's just heaps of potential, and he's shown just consistent improvement. Though I would say he got off to a slow start this year. I do think that he is going to have career highs in terms of like pressures and sacks and whatnot. It's going to be close to last year, but you're getting a high floor individual in terms of what he has in juice, get off length, his frame, his power, how he plays the run. He just has high floor tools that have high ceiling potential, because he is a guy that relies for the most part on his length a ton. He's all upper body strength. He's still refining his technique. There are times where he instead of holding blockers at bay, he brings them in and allows those guys to be able to get into his paths. A guy that's still working on his pass rush moves, still working on his counters. Definitely could improve in that regard, and I think we've seen improvements this season. But in terms of what he is, I love it. I think it's worth taking a shot somewhere after, like, not inside the top 20. That's where I'm kind of like mixed, because it's like edge 3, edge 4. They're all kind of toss-ups here. There's a bunch of guys, depending on what team you are, what scheme you are, that kind of there's different guys that kind of fit, you know. So it's not always gonna be the same. Oh, I got Gojo coming in here joining me. But yeah, I'm a big fan of this cat, and I think outside of the top 20, that's probably where he goes. Then again, there could be that team inside the top 20, outside the top 10, of course, that are like, you know, this is a guy that we don't mind betting on, man. We see what we see is what we like. He fits our scheme, and we like that high floor potential. And then on to my number 1 on the list. It's Michael Mayer. It wasn't going to be anybody else. I don't think this is the only guy we could talk about inside the top 20 right now, currently, that isn't from a Power 5 school. Again, as of right now, again, things can change. But dude's a former 4-star recruit. If you didn't see the thumbnail, look at the thumbnail, because that boy is pretty too. There, I said it looks like he belongs on Teen Wolf. I've been watching a lot of Teen Wolf recently because of my wife. Like, she's been pregnant. She can watch whatever the heck she wants before we go to bed, is what it is. But she's turned on Teen Wolf, and, like, I don't know. I got into it. It's an alright show. It's not half bad. Apparently, they're coming out with a movie in 2023. But he looks like he could be a character in that show. But this is a cat that, as a freshman, immediately usurped the veteran guy there in Tommy Tremble for Notre Dame. Like, and this dude's been a starter ever since. And he's been putting out banger years, like 51 receptions, 624 yards, 7 tutties. Like, he may not be the most explosive, but he has quick feet. He uses his hands exceptionally well during the route. He is a security blanket for quarterback. He really is. He knows how to stack defenders on any given route, uses his arms on breaks to get good separation. I stole your keys. Sorry about that. My wife. But dude's a consistent chain mover. He's consistently getting first downs and touchdowns. If you look, like 73% of his receptions resulted in such in 2021. Those numbers are going to be very similar in 2022. And you love what he can do at close quarters. Very good at the contested catch. On top of that, he's good in pass protection. He's a good run blocker. You just love that. The biggest knock you could have on Mayer is he doesn't have Kyle Pitts' athleticism. That's it. Like, oh, he's not generational? Oh, I don't want to touch this guy in the first round. No, he's a guy that might slide out of, like, maybe, like, because I think he's probably going to be like a top 15 guy for me. He's going to hover around like prospect 12, prospect 15. You know, I haven't really looked at it just yet, but I think that's where he's going to be around. But I think he's a guy that could slide out of the top 20 just because of the tight end position. Dude, my freaking hair is everywhere, dude. I normally put this in a ponytail for my videos, and now it's just bothering me. Whatever. It is what it is, man. I'm a wild man. But outside of that, like, he's a great prospect. He really is. It's hard to really nitpick anything about him. Like, this guy's going to be really good when he enters in the NFL. I don't suggest teams take him inside the top 10. We saw what happens with, like, you look at TJ Hawkinson. He was a guy that went inside the top 10 at the tight end position. And it's like, well, he's been fairly good. It's like, yeah, but there's better value positions you can get there. And I think actually you could probably compare TJ Hawkinson to Michael Mayer in terms of their projection. But, yeah, that is my top 10 NFL draft non-Power 5 prospects as it currently stands. Have a mock out for you later today. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing as always. Until next time, be easy, my friends. Later.